ready?
Yeah.
My name's Mike. I am the owner, founder of NovelKeys. Kind of by chance, I started selling Amazon liquidation lots, and I would get all these components to like computers, graphics cards, motherboards, and one of the things that I ended up getting was a 3D printer. It was a Taz 4, Taz 3 or something, and I wanted to keep it. So I kept the 3D printer, but in my head, if I was going to keep the 3D printer, I had to make money off of it. So I was already kind of into keyboards a little bit, but not like into the hobby. I had a Razer. And so one of the things I saw that people were printing were keychains for switches. And so I started making keychains and selling them on Mech Market. And then it just kind of like rolled into there. I started doing switch testers. And then basically once I started doing switch testers, that's when it all just took off. Because I had to start buying switches and I started working with manufacturers. So before NovelKeys, I was farming. I was farming for 5 years, and like I said, I was doing those liquidation lots. And once NovelKeys started picking up a little bit, I started talking to my dad, because I worked at the farm with my dad. I was like, I may have to like take some time off to work on NovelKeys. And then when I launched my website, when I actually launched the website in February of 2017, the very first day I had 50 orders, and that's kind of right then and there is when I knew I'm going to have to start doing this full time. But it wasn't until August that I ended up going full time, because I wanted to help make sure that the farm was taken care of and that I was continuing to get those orders. Going full time is scary because there goes my entire salary, and my wife actually recently left her job when I started NovelKeys because we just had twins, and so it was definitely scary to switch to the full-time route. Now it's I'm still scared. It's always nerve-wracking thinking about your business, but I feel like we've set a foundation pretty solid now that we can continue to get the sales that we need to stay afloat while working on new products like the video game that we have Wendell working on. Starting doing the switch testers allowed me to get in contact with manufacturers that did switches. Kale was the first manufacturer that I worked with. And that really just got the relationship built with Kale, and I figured out that they let me customize switches if I hit a certain MOQ for them. Once I started getting customized switches, that's when I really started working on the storefront and was able to kind of start the foundation of NovelKeys. My wife came up with the name NovelKeys. She saw the keycap sets, and one of the things that she said is, why aren't they called NovelKeys? They're called novelties. It would be funny if everyone just called them NovelKeys, because they're keycaps and it's a novelty, so she just put them together. And then from there, that's where the name NovelKeys came from. The new blue, we wanted something more clean. When we were running our website that was kind of gray, it just was bland almost. And so Riley, our creative director, we hired him, and one of the first things he started doing was playing around with different colors, and we've decided on blue just because there's really not a blue in the keyboard space yet. Other vendors have different colors, and so blue was open and it matched the way that we like to be more playful and bright, not as serious as a company. My favorite layout is 65%. I like the compactness and I like arrow keys, and that's basically it. Without arrow keys, like I'll never use the 60%. I can't use HHKB, I can't use 60%, definitely can't use 40%. But 65%, and then probably TKL's my second favorite. So for some of our top customers, we do have something special that we're going to be sending out. It's going to be unannounced, and we're hoping that we can have it by the end of this year. So the top 10 just need to stay tuned because we have some pretty cool stuff coming out for them. We always want to have switches that are switches primarily. We want to have switches that are like rock solid. We have an upcoming switch that I'm really excited about, and I think that'll cater really to the enthusiast crowd, but also be accessible to the beginner crowd. And one of the things I don't like to do is create more of like a hype beast thing where it's like, oh, you got to buy this and you got to spend this much money. I want our keyboards to be available to anyone who wants to buy them. And I want them to be user-friendly, beginner, fun. Yeah, I'm happy with the way we're usually presented and viewed by the community. I mean, there's some die-hard, like real enthusiasts that don't like us because we do cater to getting more people into the hobby. But I like our switches, I like our keyboards, and I really like our brand like image. I think like our brand itself, we've really improved on. Ever since Riley made us our logo, that's kind of taken us to the next level. Our website, I'm really happy with the way it is. The product photos, I mean, almost everything on our website is a product photo. And if it's not, it'll say render now on the bottom corner. And I think representing our products to the best of our ability is really where we've taken off to. Because we want people to see something on the screen, and when they get it, it's not a shock to them that it's any different. It's what they envisioned it will be. I would say one of the biggest misconceptions that we do have is some of our licensed stuff, thinking that we somehow have this special treatment from manufacturers. With a lot of our license sets, before they can get approved, we have to have physical samples. So we'll order small batches, wait in the queue, with GMK it could be a year, get that physical sample in, then submit it to get it fully approved. And once it's fully approved, we open up for pre-orders. It's not some magic thing that we can get real quick. We have to stay in the same queue that everyone else is in just for our samples, and that's before a product can even see the light of day. Mental health, I would say I am far more stressed than I've ever been in my life, but then I also have a lot more freedoms than I've ever had in my life, so it's a give and take. And I think the mental stress I've adapted to, and it is worth the freedoms now that I have as like an individual and be able to do things with my family. Yeah, I don't like the idea of having Discord just because I think it sometimes gets turned into not as much as a community as it is a support system. And that's really hard to keep track of to help people out. I want people to have a good experience with us, so if they have an issue with their order, all they have to do is submit a support ticket. And we're usually good at answering within 24 hours, if not sooner than that. Whereas if you start pinging us in Discord, I mean, that's going to get lost instantly. Especially, if I think about how many customers we have start joining the Discord, you're up in the tens of 20,000 people that are pinging you constantly. It just isn't a good fit for us. And so, yeah, I would think that we are better off without having a Discord. I'm personally on Discord, and you can find me in Nathan's server. Oh, yeah. There are definitely some toxic people in Discord, and that's something that's really hard for me because, NovelKeys is my company, it's my life, and not only that, it's now 9 other people's life. And it's really disheartening to see people spread misinformation or just, trash talk you for no reason. And so some of the things that I have to do is I just leave servers. I can't be in certain Discord servers because it's just people badgering you and bashing you for no reason. And it does really hit hard. Because like I said, it's like my baby that you guys are attacking sometimes. And so that's why, you won't find me on a lot of Discord servers because there's no need for me to be there and read that stuff and just bring us down. Thick skin. You need to have thick skin to be a vendor because there's a lot of people who are just mean on the internet, and you have to realize that they don't know you. They don't know you as a person, and maybe they're just memeing, or maybe they're just that type of person. But to not take that stuff to heart, because it is super disheartening to see someone just trash you. Thick skin and just I think just having the ability to ignore the haters. I developed my skin got calloused over time. Back in the day, I used to go into some Discord servers and I'd search my name, and what I would use that for was feedback. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we could do for a different switch, or this is what people are looking for. But then when it started getting into people just oh, I hate Mike, and oh, he's an idiot for doing this. And that's when I was like, oh, I got to stop doing this. But then I almost became a little bit of an addiction. I would search for it and I'd be like, oh, why are they saying this? But yeah, you just ignore it. Because if you counter them or you try to argue with these people, they'll just argue back because that's what they're there for. They're there to stir drama up and get you flustered and angry. I would say absolutely we are lucky that we got in at the right time. and that things happened at a certain time. Because I think if I was 3 years later, we wouldn't be able to build NovelKeys. Even if I was a year later, the hobby grew so much in that span as when I started the website to where it is now that I don't think I would be able to be where we are. Absolutely, luck is 100% involved. With finances and growing the company, it was probably maybe 3.5 solid years before I actually was able to like treat myself a little bit. I still to this day we're putting a lot of the money right back into NovelKeys, but we pay our employees a livable salary, and that's really important to me. But I would say 3.5 maybe 4 years is when I was able to actually start like paying myself a good salary and making sure that our employees also get a good salary. So Corey was our first employee, but he wasn't an employee. He was actually a partner. So I talked to Corey a while before he would agree to come on, because he was leaving his job to then come work with me full time. So for Corey, I would say he had the biggest struggle to come on board because he had a huge risk to leave his job and work with a relatively unknown company. For me, it was great because I needed help, especially like packing orders. It was taking a long time to do. From there, it did get relatively easier, but then like your stress level goes up too, because then you're like, I gotta keep making sure that we have good quality products to sell to make sure we bring enough income to pay everyone's salary. New vendors, I mean, there's always new vendors, and it's funny because a lot of them will reach out to me to wholesale our switches, and we've cut off actually our wholesale because it was getting flooded with requests. But we still do work with a lot of other companies. And for the most part, we try to keep just doing our own things unique and not really selling things that are readily available to everyone else. We want to offer products that are just for NovelKeys. With entry edition boards, we really want the whole experience to be great. And so we've been working on our packaging a lot too. So you get your board, and regardless if it was a $95 board or a $300 board, we want your like unboxing experience to be just as good, and we want the quality of the board, even though it's going to be made out of injection molded plastic, to be just as good as like your $300 board. And so we've been working on different mounting styles for that, and on our next entry board after the 87, we have even more fun mounting systems that we're working on. In-stock items are still a little bit tricky, especially with COVID. And I know everyone's like, oh, you're blaming it on COVID, but it's like this big ripple effect that's happening. Like once one part gets finally caught up, like the plastic industry got hit, and then you had a resin shortage. We're really trying to order much larger quantities, and we still have some GMK sets in stock because we ordered a lot of extras and now they're starting to ship. So I think that's going to continue to see more GMK sets in stock. Switches are the same thing. We order a ton in advance, and we're not having too much of an issue keeping those in stock. And then we're working on different styles of keycaps. So we're doing a lot of die sub PPD, and we actually will have our first in-stock set maybe by the time this comes out. So we're doing everything we can. When it comes to like keyboards and having them in stock, we're now hitting the chip shortage, and that's impacting the PCBs for keyboards. And then another thing to consider is you get your first batch in, you check over the product because you've gotten your samples in and those were all great. But when you get your production run of a keyboard, things change in a production run. And so I want to have time to look over the production run and then be able to make adjustments before I order the next one. But that usually creates a gap in like our in-stock keyboards. Social media is pretty important for us actually. Instagram especially. We're kind of on Twitter, but we just end up posting the same things that we post on Instagram on Twitter. Instagram is really just been a great tool to show off like sets that we're running, in-stock products that we have. So with marketing, we've, other than just posting on Instagram and having our sponsors, I guess it's sponsees, we don't pay for marketing. We just post our Instagram ads. We have enough followers there. We send out email blasts. Down the road, we may start advertising on Instagram, but really, I just like our products to kind of speak for themselves, and we don't pay for advertisement. We work with Fresh from the Grave. He designed Cam Super User, and he is a genius when it comes to like 3D animation, and that type of marketing is something that's just really fun for us to do. It's not necessarily like that we hope we're going to sell this many more sets. It's fun. It's fun for the designer to see their set get taken in a different light, especially the panels trailer that he did. That was amazing. So with that marketing, that's just more fun. We like to do, like, we want our company to be fun. And with our new packaging that we've been working on, it's just all bright colors, fun things to do, not take ourselves too seriously. So for me, while it is a hobby to me, it's almost always been a job. When I started selling the switch testers and the keychains, that was still kind of income for me. Especially as a farmer, I wasn't making a lot of money at all. And that was just nice to have a little side income. So it's always been a job, but it's also made me really into the hobby, and now I have hundreds of keyboards. From a hobby standpoint, I do enjoy the freedom that NovelKeys has to make new products and like more fun things that, if we have to do injection molding, that's a lot of money to put up front into the tooling, but now we are able to do that. We're able to use the capital that we built to put into new products that are fun. Before, it was like just scraping by, trying to grow and trying to scale. And so I would say for me, it's just being able to make more fun products. Working with Disney made me super nervous. But then I had my first call with them and they were so nice. And so it was super calming, but then still, like, that whole process, until we got the first product out, I was like sweating all the time about it. But no, I still like, with the NK87 entry about to come out, I still get super nervous about it, and I'll be like, for a couple days, so anxious, and especially when we send out review units for people to check out, like, what are they gonna say? Like, so no, the product launches are still scary to me. I would say I get relief from, I would say, the content creators when they say their say, because I mean, ultimately it is like their base that they hit that really gets impacted. Like when the NK65 came out and Bad Seed, when Brian released his video about it, I mean, that blew up the internet for us. And we were that was the first like entry edition affordable board that we were coming out with, and so we didn't have like a whole lot coming in stock. And then that sold out, I think, in 5 seconds when we relaunched it. So that was a relief, But then that became a nightmare, because it's like, I don't have enough. It's going to take like a month to 2 months to get some more in stock. And then everyone was sending us like mean messages on Twitter, on Instagram. We had people that was like, I hope your place burns down with you guys in it. There was about 15 people that got blocked from our Instagram that day. I mean, the whole business is unexpected for me, that it just took off the way it did, and then I was able to quit my job, and now I have a team of 10. That's all still is very like humbling and unexpected for me. Being reached out by bigger companies has also been a shock. Like Sony reached out to us, and we were able to talk to them about licensing and worked out a deal with Breaking Bad and Ghostbusters. That's crazy to me that I'm able to have a keyboard with Lucasfilm Star Wars or Breaking Bad or Ghostbusters on it. That's still blowing my mind. Yeah, I would definitely say our sales numbers and just the fact that we were able to build this office, have a warehouse, have a team now of 10, we're not slowing down. We have not seen any plateau happen yet in the hobby, and I don't ever really see keyboards going away. I do think there's going to be like a point of the plateau actually happening, but for now it's still just growth. My big next goal is to release our video game. I don't want it to be like, I know it's not going to be some crazy seller of a game, but I want people to be able to play it, enjoy it, and have fun, especially because, if you were at our NovelKeys meetup, you knew what the game is, and I want people to play it, have fun with each other, and be able to use keyboards while doing it. And so I'd say coming out with the game is definitely our next big goal and big push. I think the next big advancement in the hobby is probably going to be different style switches. I don't see the MX style, like the whole footprint, going away, because it's just so compatible with everything. Like if you have an old keyboard that you really liked from TGR, you can still use MX switches. So I think the actual footprint of MX is here to stay, especially with keycaps, stabilizers, everything. But I think different actual style switches inside that same footprint is the future. Now, for me and NovelKeys, it was like, I have to keep it going. I have to like figure out what products I need to stock, what we need to change, how to treat customers, and I never envisioned it growing like this, but I never envisioned stopping it or having like an exit strategy. Like I don't want to be bought out, but obviously if someone offers you the right money, you're gonna take the money. But I don't want to be bought out. I like my job. I like doing this, and I don't see it going away. Oh yeah, dude, I'm so happy about this. Like, I get to come to work. I get to work with some of my best friends. I get to put fun things out there, and now I get to enjoy. Like, I feel like I really enjoy life.
Okay, so these are just for fun. I might include them, I might not.
Okay.
And a lot of them were viewers submitting. If you wore a Ron hat, would you wear it normal or backwards?
Ron hats always have to be worn normal.
You also asked for a Ron hat, please.
Here you go.
That's pretty cute. This is from Diesel King. Can you tell me the secret of that awesome beard?
Luck and having it super curly, because if I were to shave and come down with it, my beard's actually not that thick. It just looks thick.
It looks, yeah.
No, it's super patchy.
This is Yoda. How do I apply to work at NovelKeys?
You can shoot us an email for applications, but we're not hiring right now. If we are hiring, we will put a little thing out probably for the next hire.
I don't think you've put out any like public hires, right?
No, everything's kind of just been internal. Even with like Riley Neflock being our latest hire, it was just him and I just talking back and forth because we had already built a relationship and I knew I needed his help.
Okay, and last one from Croissant. What's your perfect Sunday?
My perfect Sunday is going to a local restaurant with my family and having brunch. We always go there. My twins always get French toast, and I usually always get the special and hang out with my wife and kids.
If you want any last message, feel free to say it now.
Oh,
Closing remark.
thank you. No. A closing remark? I don't
If you
know.
want, you can have it.
Thank you.